All right, 701, 706, I think. So by now, you should be tired of doing these things, and you should be very proficient. So first question. Negative 34 minus whatever this is. So if you change it to addition, Alexa, volume 3, it becomes this. There are a bunch of negatives together, so your answer is going to be negative, and we add these two. 87, 34, carry the 1, 131. Am I right? Don't know. 141? No, 131. What am I doing here? Carry the 1, 121. Is that right? I don't know. 34 and 87, 11, 9, 12, 121. All right, close enough. Next one. 13 minus 76 is what I'm going to take care of first. And that becomes 13 plus negative 76. There are more negatives. And I do 76 minus 13. Carry 7 minus 1 is 63. So I get negative 63, which I'm then going to subtract 87. Again, change this to addition, please. Bunch of negatives joined together, so we're going to get more negatives. So 63 plus 87. 10, carry the 1, 150. 150, negative. Okay. Oops, I'm moving that. Here we go. 23 and negative 61. There's more negatives, so my answer is going to be negative. 61 minus 23. 11 minus 3 is 8. 5 minus 2 is like 3. So negative 38 is the answer for these two. And then minus 8. So change to addition. And you got a bunch of negatives together again. It's going to be negative, and 38 plus 8 is just 46. These two, again, is a negative plus a negative. So again, I just get a bunch of negatives. And that's going to be 74. And I'm going to subtract more negatives. And if I change this to an addition problem, I get that. And again, a bunch of negatives being joined together, and 74 plus 12 gives me something like 86. Now, a lot of you asked me today, what does the word interpretation mean? Think interpretation as interpreter, right? Translator. Actually, bad choice. So, let me see. So, in the context of this little problem, Sam lost $10.25 on 5 different football games. So he lost $10.25 5 times. So obviously, to find out how much he lost, we can do 1025 plus 1025 plus 1025 plus 1025 plus 25 5 times, or we can just simply multiply, right? And when we multiply a negative, because this implies that he lost, right? So negative 10.25 times 5. Let's figure what that is first. So 25 goes 2 is 12, goes 1 is 1. 5 times 1 is 51.25 negative. So in the context, the context of the story here, our answer is negative. Why is it negative? Because the interpretation here that he lost, right? Because it's negative, we can tell has a negative connotation. He lost negative, so he lost $51. We're not going to say negative 51, but in the context of this story, the answer is negative. Therefore, it means that he lost a total of $51.25. Okay, over on the 5 bets that he made. Okay, he lost $51.25 on the 5 different football games. Okay, probably bet on the wrong team. Okay, something stuck. So division, multiplication, sorry, so it's a negative times a negative, so I know it's going to be positive. And we just simplify across. Simplify, multiply across. We can divide if we can, if we want. I mean, we can simplify. Why can't I speak? We can simplify. And we're going to 7 divided by 7 is 1. We can simplify this with this guy, and that gives me a 3. Nothing else simplifies. So 1 times 8 is 8. 15 times 3 is 45. Simple. Okay, so the important here is not you knowing negative and negative gives you a positive answer. So this one, let's change this to a what do you call improper 5. You get 9 over 5. Don't simplify anything. You get negative 6 times 5 over 9. Let's put the 6 over 1 if that makes you happy. It's a negative times a positive, so my answer is going to be negative, a negative fraction, right? So let's divide this by 3, I get 2. Divide this by 3, I get 3. 2 times 5 is 10. 1 times 3 is 3. You can leave it like this. Look at your multiple choices. If all the answers are improper fractions, then leave it like this. If it's not, change it to a mixed number. 3 goes into 10 3 times. 1 left over 3. Either or works out just fine. Where am I here? So here, definitely, I would, if you could change to decimals, you can. But you know, who wants to divide decimals? It's probably better to divide fractions. So therefore, let's change this to a fraction. It becomes 45 over 100. We're going to change that to multiplication, multiply by the reciprocal. Now let's see if we can simplify anything. I can simplify the 145. Divided by 5 is like 20. Divided by 5, I think it's 9. Is there anything else I can do? Nope. Multiply across, 7 and 20 is 140. 9 and 9 is like 81. Again, look at your multiple choices. If it's an improper fraction, leave it at this. If it's a mixed number, then you need to figure out what this is as a mixed number. 81 goes into 140 one time. You have 59 left over 81. Okay. In this question, and I'm just going to write this out horizontally because I like it that way. You don't have to if you're not. And then we're dividing that by negative 3/8. So that's what's happening. So we got to figure out the subtraction first. LCM is 35. So it's times 7 here, and then times 7 on top is going to give me 28. Times 5 here, so therefore times 5 on top, I get 20. 28 over 35 minus 20 over 35. This one you don't need to change to addition because simply it's just 28 minus 20, which gives you 8. So far, so good. We're going to divide that by negative 3/8, right? Negative 3/8. So we're going to change that to multiplication times, and let's get the reciprocal of that. Can I simplify anything? Doesn't look like it. So 8 times 8 is 64 on top. Oops, I forgot. It's a positive times a negative, so I'm going to get a negative answer. 65 over 35 times 3, I don't know. It's 105. All right. 105. Final answer. Ooh, so this question, careful here. So it says the temperature changed from negative 15 to 12. Which expression can you use to represent the change in temperature? Now, it's not saying which expression you would use to calculate the change. It's actually asking you which of these represents the change in temperature. So why don't we find the change in temperature first? So let's put a 0 here. Let's put negative 15, negative 12. So this is your afternoon. Did I say afternoon? Afternoon. This is your evening. So the temperature obviously went up. It got warmer, a lot warmer, right? So if I were to ask you, and again, you can think of this as temperature. We're talking about change, so definitely it's a positive change, right? Because it went up. So how much did it go? How many degrees did it change from negative 15 to 12? Well, you can just, if you want to, do all these, right? And I'm not counting, and just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way up. Okay. Or you can simply know that from negative 15 to 0, it's 15, right? From here to be 15. From 0 to 12 is 12. And if you add those two, right, you would get 27. So the temperature changed. The temperature increased by 27 degrees, right? So to go from negative 15 to 12, it had to climb 27 degrees. So now that you know that, you got to look for one of these expressions, okay, one of these force expressions, and see which one equals positive 27. This guy is gone right away because negative minus, this is going to be negative plus a negative 12. It's not even going to be anywhere near a positive number. Garbage. Absolute value, remember what absolute value is asking you is how far the number is away from 0. So absolute value of negative 15 is 15. And then if you subtract 15 minus 12, that's 3. Garbage. Negative 15 minus the absolute value of negative 12. How far is negative 12 away from 0? It's 12, so let's change that to just a 12. And this looks like this guy right here, so you know it's garbage. So now, even if you didn't know what to do here, that's the only one that's left over. So let's do this. Inside the parentheses, I have negative 15 minus 12. In parentheses, inside the absolute value sign. So let's keep that in there, because I'm not going to get rid of it yet. And it's negative 15. Change that to plus negative 12. Negative 15 plus negative 12 is a bunch of negatives, right? Negatives added to a negative. So I know my answer is going to be more negatives. So 15 plus 12 is 27. Ooh, that's close. So now you have absolute value of negative 27. And how far is negative 27 away from 0? 27. Does that match what we're looking for? It does. Only available choice is that one. Change to a decimal. So, some of you are having problems with this. Let's see why. So 13, the numerator goes inside. Let's divide this by 16. And it doesn't go in, so I add a decimal. And it's 8. So 16 times 8 is, I have no idea, 48, 128. Subtract, you have 2 left over. We're going to continue. 16 goes into 21 time, which is 16. Subtract, I have 4 left over. Bring another 0 down. 16 goes into 42 times, I believe, which is 32. Subtract, I have 8 left over. Bring another 0 down. And 16 goes into negative 5 times. So 13 over 16 as a decimal is 0.8125. And what kind of decimal is this? This is a terminating decimal, right? One that ends. Is not a repeating decimal. Okay, and it's not. That's it. Find two numbers that are 7.5 units from negative 1. Well, find negative 1 first of all, right? Negative 1, negative 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this number, this one's, I don't understand this one. So you're here. So if you want to find, if I told you that I was 7.5 units away from you, where would I be? What are the possible locations that I could be? So let's look on this side. If I'm 7.5 units away from you, I could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. So I would be in this location. And if you look at your number line, that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5. So I would be standing at 6.5 or 6.5. I could also be on this side. So count 7.5 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. So I could also be here. And that location, well, that's negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8.5. So I could be standing either here or here. Okay. Use a number line. Which expression is the same as that? Okay. There are some plus signs over here, so definitely let's do this. So let's take 7 minus 23 and change that to addition. 7 plus negative 23. Remember the commutative property? Commutative property. Commutative property says that if I take two numbers, let's say 5 plus 3, and I change the order, it's the same thing, right? So keep this in mind when we're doing this. So I changed 7 minus 23 to 7 plus negative 23. And you notice that a lot of these multiple choice answers have the 23 in front, right? So let's change sides here. So I can bring the negative 23 to the front. And the plus stays the same. And then I'm going to bring this 7 to the back. All right, so does 23 minus 7 look anywhere near one of these three? No, garbage. 23 plus negative 7. First of all, we have negative 23, and this one has to be 7 minus 3. So, and the 7 is negative. None of these 7s are negative. Garbage. 7 minus negative 23. So this one, if you let's change that to addition. If you change that to addition, you would get 7. Change that to addition, and this would change to positive 23. So that would be 7 plus 23. It doesn't even make sense because none of these are, what do you call, two positives being added together. Just by default, that's your answer. And you can clearly see that that's also, what do you call, the same as one of our 3 choices. Okay. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so this is just a subtraction problem, which is easier done, I think, with an mixed number. So this is going to be 1213 over 3, negative, minus 56 plus 5 is 61 over 7. I will change this to an addition problem. Okay, just so that makes it even easier for me. I am going to now find common denominator, which in this, what do you call, small common denominator. I don't want to deal with bigger numbers than I have to. So 21 is my common denominator, negative. This is also going to be 21. Times 7 over here, that's how it became 21. Times 7 over here is 21, that's going to be 91. Times 3 over here, and that's be 3, 183. So a negative plus a negative, it's just going to be more negative. They're friends, right? So it's going to be, let me make that negative sign a little smaller. Negative something over 21, yeah? So if you look at the top, and I'm going to circle the top. If you look at the top here, we're looking at negative 91 plus negative 183. They're both negative, so I'm going to add those because they're friends, so you just get a bigger group of negatives. So you get 91. My legs are cramping. 91. 183. Yikes, that hurt. So it's 417 goes 1, 274. So 274 over 21. And again, if this is a, you can change that to an improper fraction or a mixed number. Okay. You can always do it this way just by dividing, and I will divide. 21 goes into 27 one time. 6 left over, 4. 21 goes into 64 3 times, which is 63. 1 left over. So if I change this to a mixed number, it's going to be negative 13. 21 goes into 274 13 times. 1 over here, and 21. Okay. Okay, why is this not working? Clear. Oh. We're going to do this one, right? Okay, so subtract 10, 14, so this becomes 14 over 5, plus 8 times 9 is 72, plus 7, 79 over 8. Yuck. LCM, find it. It's 40. So this is going to be 40. So this is times 8, so it'd be 14 times 8, which is 32, goes 3, 112. It's 8 times 5, so 79 times 5. I can do 79 times 80, or 80 times 5, right? 80 times 5 is 400, and if I go one less down, this is going to be 395, right? That's one easier way of multiplying. So it's a positive plus a negative. There's more negatives, so it's going to be a negative answer, right? So 40. How much many? Okay, so there's more negatives. Well, let's figure out how much more. So it's 382, 283 more negatives. All right, so you can make a bunch of zero pairs, and you would end up having 283 negatives left over. This question's too easy. How about this one? Hey, so LCM is 20, right? Yikes. 9. So this would be times 2, and on top times 2, you get 6. So let's talk about this. It's 20, it would be at the bottom. And if you look at the top, right here, you get 6 minus 9. 6 plus negative 9, there's more negatives, so it's going to be negative 3, and that's what you can put on top. Ta-da! Now, this has a mix of decimals and fractions. Okay, so I think I've said it before. 1 over 5, 2 over 5, 3 over 5, 3 over 5, 4 over 5, 1 over 4, 2 over 4, 3 over 4. Why am I doing this? All of these you should know by heart what it equals, please. So 1 over 5 is 0.2, 2 over 5 is 0.4, 0.6, 0.8. 1 over 4 is a quarter, or 0.25. 2 over 4 is a half, or 0.5. And 3/4 is 3/4, or 0.75. So try to remember those. So let's make some changes here to make our life easier. Negative 4/5 is the same thing as negative 0.8. Minus 0.85, minus 1/4, which is 0.25, and then plus negative 0.13. Look how much easier that became. Let's take care of these two together. So I can write 0.8 plus negative 0.85. It's two negatives together being added, so I'm going to get a little bit more negative. So think of this as 80 cents and 85 cents. 80 cents plus, so if you want to take it to the side, put a 0 over here, it's going to be 516 and 165. Now we're going to do this part, minus 0.25. So change it to addition, 1.65 plus negative 0.25. Right, so again, it's a negative plus a negative, so it's going to be negative. So 1.65 plus 0.25. Imagine if you have $1.65 and you added a quarter, you would end up with $1.90. So negative 1.90 plus the last part plus, wow, this is all negatives, plus negative 0.13. So again, so now we have the negative plus a negative is going to be a negative, and $1.90. So imagine if you had this and you had 13 cents, you end up with $2.03. So negative 2.03. R. So it's a negative divided by a negative times a positive. Yikes. So let's do the negative divided by a negative. So it's negative 47 times negative 5 over 2, the reciprocal, right? So it's going to be a positive answer, because negative times a negative is positive. Can I simplify? Yeah. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 times 5 is 10 on top, and 7 times 1 is 7. So I have done this. Now I'm going to multiply that by negative. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1 is 13 over 4, right? I'm going to multiply 10 over 7 times negative 13 over 4. I can simplify this. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. And positive times a negative is a negative. 7 times 2 is 14. 5 times 13 is 65. You can leave it like this, depending on your choices, or change it to an improper fraction, or mixed number, sorry. 65 goes into 14 4 times, yeah, that looks like 4. 56. I'm going to have 5 borrow 9 left over, so this becomes 4. 9 left over 14, negative. Okay. Let's subtract, so it's 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10 over 3, so let's take care of this inside. 9 times 7 is 63, plus 8 is going to be 71. 71 over 9, so let's take care of that. We're going to divide that a little bit later. Change, LCM is 9. Thankfully, that's already a 9, but this one changed, so it's times 3, and times 3 on top gives us 30. So if you think about this, it's going to be something over 9. You just got to figure out if it's positive or negative. So take the top part. It's going to have 30 minus 71. 30 plus negative 71. There's more positive and more negative, sorry, so my answer is going to be negative. And 71 minus 30 is 41. So negative 41 over 9, which we are going to leave as a, what do you call this, improper fraction. we're going to divide that by negative 1 over 6. And let me just take this to the top. Negative 41 over 9 times the reciprocal, which is negative 6 over 1. Negative times a negative is a positive. We can divide 6 by 3 to give us 2. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 41 times 2 on top is 82. 3 times 1 at the bottom is 3 still. 82 over 3 positive. We can change to a mixed number. So we can do it that here. 3 goes into 82 2 times. 6. 22. 3 goes into 22 7 times, which is 21 1. So the answer would be 27 times 1 over 3. 3 goes into 82 27 times 1 over 3. Mark bought 5 bags of flour. Yuck. So again, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and each bag weighs 5 2/5 pounds. Maybe they're a bag of potatoes or something. You know, every time I give you homework, what do I have to do it? And the other one, 1, 2, 3, sorry, it's not the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So Kim bought corn, 4 2/3. Maybe they're making cake or something. 4 2/3 pounds each bag. Right, so I'm giving you a little visual here. 4 2/3, 4 2/3, 4 2/3, 4 2/3. Oops, 4 2/3, 4 2/3. So we want to know how much all these bags weigh together. Ugh, yuck. So let's find out. You can do this separately, right? So take the shortcut. Let me do the red. So in the red, I have 5 2/5, right? Each bag times 5. And on the blues, I have 4 2/3 times 9. Once you find the answer to those two, you can just add them both. So let's find the red bag. So change that to 27 over 5 times 5, yeah. And hopefully it's clear on your screen. So 5 times 5 is 25, times 2 is 27, times 5. We can simplify this and this, and that becomes 27. So let me write 27 pounds. 4 2/3, 3 times 4 is 12, plus 2 is 14. It's going to be 14 over 3 times 9. I can simplify this 3, and 9 divided by 3 is 3, so I get 14 times 3, which is 242. So the total weight would be 27 pounds for the flour, 42 pounds for the, what is this, corn. 27 plus 42, it goes 69 pounds altogether. That's simpler than I thought. Anyways. Yuck. Tony has a book that's 45 pages long. What is that, a comic book? He's reading log. That should say log, not long. He's reading log for the past 5 days. Here's his reading log. So Monday he read 7 3/4 pages. This blah blah blah. Thursday, how many pages are left for him to read on Friday? Yuck. Well, obviously we have to add what he has read so far. So he has read 7 3/4 plus 13 1/5 plus 1. Maybe he's not too enthusiastic about the book. Plus 5 2/3. So this is how much he has read so far. So let's try to find something in common. So 7 times 4 is 28, plus 3 is 31 over 4. So I'm just going to change this. 5 times 13, it's like, I don't know, 65, 66 over 5. Plus 1, and then plus 3 times 5 is 17, 17 over 3. Yeah? So let's find a common denominator for all these three numbers. So this is over 1, by the way. So it's, what's the common denominator between 4, 5, and 3? 60? That work? 4 times 20, 60. Is there any other number? No. So let's change everything to 60. 60, 60, 60. The easy one is this one because it's times 60, so this one is times 60, so that gives me 60. So 3 times what? 60 times 20. So it's times 20 on top. That gives me 340. I think. 5 times 12 is 60. So times 12 on the top. Really? 5 times 3 is 15, goes 165, 60. Yes, it is. I have to multiply 12 times 66, really? I have no idea what that is. 6 times 12 is 72, 72 again, 792 over 60. And the last one is 4 times something is 60. 4 times 15 is 60. So 31 times 15. Oof. 31 times 15 is 5, 15, 31, 5, 6, 365. Yay. Now I gotta add all those. So it's not gonna be something over 60. Let's add 365, 792, 60, and then 340. 5 and 2, 7. Carry the 1. 10, 22 plus 4 is like, I don't know, 26. And 1,567. Okay, so so he's read that much, and let's change that to a mixed number. Okay. Let me divide this by 60, which is 2, 120, 36, 367. That'd be 6, so 360 and 7. So 60 goes into 1,567 26 times. I'll have 7 left over 60. So I want to know how much, blah, 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 where is it? So I'd like to know how many pages. So far he's read this much. How many pages are in this book? Oh, so 45 minus 26 and 760. Well, that's not that hard to do, right? So we can make this, so let me try to write it this way, so hopefully. If I write it like this, I think it's better. You get 26, 7 over 60, right? Now, here's my whole numbers, here's my fractions, and you notice that there is, well, we can put a 0 over here, yeah? Think of it as a decimal. But I need some borrowing, so just in a fraction, the borrowing is going to be a little bit different, right? So I got to borrow, so definitely this is going to be 44. Now, when you borrow this, when you lend it, you need, well, just to make it easier, I'm going to put something over 60 and over 60. Isn't 60 over 61? So that's my borrowing. I borrowed 1, right? 1 unit over that side. And that unit is 1, and I changed the 1 into 60 over 60. And now I can subtract very easily. So it's going to be something over 60. 60 minus 7 is 53. And over here, 44 minus 26 is like 18 or something. Yeah, 18. This is how much he has left to read. Okay, so one of those changes again. Change questions. So here's the price of a baseball card. And the baseball card, okay, again, supply and demand. Sometimes it's popular, sometimes it's not popular. So the price has changed. It's gone up and down, up and down, up and down. Let's see how this works. So the price, let's write everything. So it's 12.5 plus negative 3.75. So I'm going to write everything as an addition. Plus negative 15.42 plus 18.22 and then plus 24.39. So let's see how my baseball card, or this particular baseball card, ends up at the end of the week. Is that 39? Yeah. Take care of these two. Right? So it was up 12.5, and then it has gone from 12.5, definitely decreased. So let's find, it's going to be positive because there's more positives, and let's find the difference between them. So I guess you're working your decimal skills here. Put a 0, borrow from all the way out here. That becomes a 0. This becomes a 12, becomes 11, 15, which becomes a 14. That becomes a 10. 10 minus 5 is 5, 7, and 11 minus 3 is 8. So this becomes 8.75, which we then add to negative 15.42. right? So if I do 8.75 plus negative 15.42, you know that there's more negative, so my answer is going to be negative, right? Let's figure that out. So 15.42 minus 8.75. Gotta borrow from this guy again. 0, 14, 13, 12. 12 minus 5 is 7. 13 minus 7 is 6. 14 minus 8 is 6. So now we're at negative. So the card has definitely taken a little dive. Went all the way down. And then it went up considerably. So now we'll probably end up in positive territory. So there's positive. It's going to be a positive answer. So let's find the difference between these two. And we can borrow from the 8 this time. 7, 12, 11, and 12. 12 minus 7 is 5. 11 minus 6 is 5. 7 minus 6 is 1. And 11. So now you're up 11.55. And then finally on the last day, it's another positive. It went up by even more. So your card is now on the positive side. 11, 24.39. Add this up. 14, 9, 5, 35, 94. So by the end of the week, your price has gone up by 35.94. So I'm going to erase all this for a second. So your card was here. So imagine on a graph or whatever, your card was here. You did all this throughout the week. And then at the last day of the week, it shot up. So wherever your card was, it's now 30. I forgot the price. It is 35.94. So your card started at a price that you don't know. So let's call that, put a question mark. And throughout the whole week, it went up, it went down, went down, and went up, and went up. So your card price, it's $35.94 higher than it used to be. So whatever it was, so if it was at $10 at the beginning of the week, add 10 plus $35.94, and you would get your final price, right? So the price of the card increased, so you need to write that the price increased. Okay, I need that word there by the end of the week, or you can write decrease if it's the other case. The price increased by the end of the week. Okay, because I added all the numbers and it ended up in a positive number. Okay, so that tells us that the card is worth more today than it used to be on Monday. So if you write start, something changed, and here's my final. So let's figure that out. So my final price, it's telling me on part B that it was, so at Friday evening, the price ended up at 35. It changed. What was our change? Our change was 35.94. So there was our card, it went up and down, went up and down. Here's our card, and then it changed. It went up by 35.94. And it ended up at 105.35. So what was the price before that? So what was our original price in the beginning of the week? So you know that to find the start, we do final minus change, right? So we're going to do 105.35 minus 35.94. 105.35 minus 35.94. We're going to do a little subtracting. Borrow from the 1, 0. 10, 9, 15, it becomes 14, 13, it's going to become a 12, and that's going to stay as, no, I don't need to borrow that guy. So 14, and this becomes 13, sorry. 5 minus 4 is 1, 13 minus 9 is 4, 14 minus 5 is 9, and 9 minus 3 is 6. What is going on here? Okay, so at the beginning of the week, the price of my card was $69.41. That kind of makes sense, right? It was 69, went up by 35, and landed on 105. So that is it. Okay. Stop the video, load it.